Hello and welcome to yet another very exciting episode of Entrepreneurs Lounge, the show that highlights success stories of young entrepreneurs making it in different spheres. Now, this year we have a new home, which is the King Post, located on Raptor Road in Westlands. Today's episode is very, very exciting, and my very first guest is Ezekiel Nganga. He is the founder of Bomba Media Company. You're very welcome to the show, Ezekiel.
Thank you very much.
Bomba Media Company, what's the story?
Bomba Media Company is a company I started in 2012. Basically, by that time I was working, but I figured being employed really won't take me far. So I thought about coming up with something in a field that I'm well skilled, I understand. So I thought, why not start a company? Now, at Bomba Media Company, we do several things. Of course, we do video production and photography. We also do media liaison, and we offer consultancies. These are the two key products that are giving us an edge in the market. For the consultancies, or what we refer as coffee cups, this is where when an organization wants to rebrand, or they have a strategy, a media strategy, but they are not so sure about it, they come talk to us, they pick our mind on the same subject, and then we are able to advise them on the best way and the best approaches to, to maximize on the output or the target or the goal that they're looking at. So that's Bomba Company.
So Ezekiel, you mentioned something interesting. You said you were working in 2012 and you decided to start up with this media company in line with what you do. I want to know what it is that you are doing and how it fed into what you decided then to do as a business in terms of skill set and how important that was.
First, since I was a very young person, I never believed in working on one thing or one line. I believed if I'm in a line, I'm supposed to know everything about that line. So I was in news reporting. And then, with the media and everything, there comes the issue of reporting, there comes the issue of camera work, production, and so on, editing and so on. So I tried to take some time off. Every time I have an opportunity, I would, go try to edit, go try to do camera work, and so on. And that's when I figured out, I'm able to understand all these aspects of production. So when it came to starting Bomba Media, I actually knew exactly what it entails, every aspect of production. I didn't, there are those opportunities where someone will tell you, we cannot do this, or this will take 2 weeks or 2 days, but I understand. So I could tell someone, no, this is supposed to take 2 hours. And that's how it worked.
So how important then would you say it is to have prior knowledge, or at least to somehow be in line with the same field you decide to branch out in business? Because from your story, it has really, really been come at an advantage to you. But then we also see so many people out there who will be accountants, and then before you know it, they're branching off into a field of entrepreneurship that is so different, and then somewhere along the way you'll find they'll have challenges. So the question again is, how important it is to stick to what you know or to your line of work when you even decide to branch out into business?
The key thing here is knowledge of the industry, what it takes. It's very difficult if you're a young entrepreneur or aspiring entrepreneur that you will get someone to help you establish, your business. So what does it take to establish a business? You will need to understand where you're venturing into. Now, for me, in my case, I understood. So when I was starting up, I could do camera work. You see, I'm the person. I could do camera work, come edit, and then, do some bit of graphics and so on, and put it to the client. It helped me a lot because I could cut on cost. When you're starting, you don't have a lot of money by that time. You need to cut on costs. Everywhere you can leverage on your work experience, it comes in hand. But if you expect that you're going to start up a business and hire someone, a hired hand will never establish a business for you. That's the thing. A hired hand will never help you establish a business because they are there for the end month. They are there for the day. You see, when the day ends, they are like, okay, 29 more days to go, or maybe 28 more days to go. But if it's your business, the passion and everything that comes with that work, you will put it, you'll give it your best.
So Ezekiel, I'm very keen on hearing about the journey and about the experience 2012 to date. We know some businesses that even started in maybe 2015, and somehow if you look for them today, you can't find them. So you're clearly doing something right. What has the journey been like from when you started to where we are today, at some point did you feel like, you know what, I have to call back my employer, I'm going back, I'm not doing this anymore?
I could say there are those moments, but I never thought about calling my employer, of course. But I knew I have to, whichever way it goes, I knew I had to make it work. So I had no option of, opting out or so on. So I had to do everything. When I started, I didn't have a lot of capital. I had a small amount, and I wanted to get a camera, of course, one for video and one for still. That's what I did. And now getting the camera, and you feel like, yes, now I'm in the game. You go to online and you figure out, okay, now I need to advertise on online to put my work out there. Then guess what? Online, especially in this industry, it will not get you clients. People work with trust. People work with that, do I know so-and-so? Do I know what they do? That's how it works. Of course, at least from my experience, that's how it works. So the journey has been with ups and downs. I've had opportunities where, you get that business and you feel, yes. There are those opportunities where you feel it's low. I remember this one case where I had, around 2015, I had a big business. That was my big, my first big client, and gave me a business, and I could not finance the business. I walked into a bank, and they are not, they're a bit hesitant. They look at your accounts and so on, and you hear you need a lot of money. You don't have enough money. You don't have enough equipment. You need to hire equipment. But then somehow I turned to a few friends here and there, and they chipped in, and that worked. But that was one of the many things that I came to learn, challenge the young entrepreneurs. Access to capital. It's a very big problem, because we have very many young people out there have very brilliant ideas, but how do they kickstart that idea? How do they put it out there? How do they make it a working business? That's a key challenge, capital. But then along the road, I've had a fair share of success. I've had satisfied clients. That's how I work in terms of growing my business. You will not see me advertising and so on. I really depend on satisfied clients and referrals. That's how.
So, but you mentioned that Bomba Media Company is a consultancy, while you also double up as media productions. However, my question is, when you started, did you start out with it being both a consultancy and a media production, or did you decide later on, you know what, I can also do consulting? And this is why I asked this question. A lot of people, especially entrepreneurs, usually when they start with too much on their plate, it gets overwhelming. You haven't even properly put your foot in. You're trying to do a million things, and somehow it blows up on you. My question is, what would you say about, is it good to start big from the beginning, or is it good to start small, diversify later? What advice would you give to entrepreneurs out there?
I think every entrepreneur starts big. They want to go in there with, yeah, they want to go there and, yes, I'm here, announce their presence and so on. But there are those things that you learn. And what I can say is you need to be adaptive to what the environment, what the industry brings on board. When we started, there are those things that were not very, key. Like, for instance, live streaming, video live streaming on Facebook, on YouTube. Those things were not that big that time. But as you grow, as the industry evolves, these are the new things that come. The issues about consultants. When I started with production only. But then there are so many people who came in, they were disappointed somewhere, or they have strategies, they are not sure if they will work, or they want to, to put their brand out there. They don't know how to do it. Then I figured out, why not? We can actually offer this as a product on its own. And that's where we came up with the coffee cups, the consultancy services. So someone can, if you have, you have your own in-house team and you want to pick mind of an expert who actually understands the industry, how to work out the brand and put it out there, you can talk to us. That's how we developed into those. And then there's also the issue of media engagement and media alliance. It's not so many people, and even those ones of us who are trained in this field, not so many people have these contacts. Now for us, we benefit on that. We have enough contacts in the, in the landscape, and we are not only in Kenya. Like most of what we do, it's not even Kenyan. We are in other African countries. We're in South Africa, we are in Nigeria, we are in a bit in Malawi. These are the people we work with. The clients we work with are mostly in those areas. And recently we are trying to do something in Zambia. That's how we are working, yes.
Ezekiel, you mentioned something very important. You've mentioned that the media landscape has really evolved over time, and I have to agree. We're seeing, like, it's beyond now just TV. It's beyond, like, the YouTube. It has really, really grown. And as such, there are also so many other production companies out there. How do you manage to stand out? How do you do your thing differently so that when, as a client, I'm thinking of who to go to, the first person on my mind is Bomba Media Company?
What we do differently, for example, if I can give an example of media engagement and media liaison. You come to us, you have an event, you want it put out there, we will do that for you. We'll bring everyone you want. Not just that. After that, we will track the stories and we'll give you the impressions, we'll give you the reach. We'll tell you your story was read by these and these people. So that gives you a bit of an upper hand when, as a client, you're doing your reports and so on. You can actually quantify and say, we had this event, we reached this number of people, and that kind of helps us because it's not everyone who can do that. Yes.
Finally, Ezekiel, you already have a presence, you've told me, beyond just Kenya. You already have a presence in some other African countries. So you're doing well for yourself. What's the next step?
The next step is we want to go to really firm up our presence in Africa. We are just in few African countries, the ones we are doing. Even in Kenya, we are not that big, but it's because of the kind of clients we are working with. They are international and they have projects in different countries. We tend to work with them where they are. But we want to firm up our presence in Africa. In Kenya, in the next few years, we're going to try and make this a household, name, for lack of a better word, so that everyone can actually, when they think about media engagement, they think about a production and so on. We want to do that. We want to be the household name. Yes.
Ezekiel, our backgrounds are similar, I feel like, in terms of career. So through your story, I'm already inspired. We need to touch base in about 1 year. Maybe we might need to exchange cards, tap into each other's clientele. You have a beautiful story, and thank you very much for coming on to the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
I have to take a very quick break, but don't go anywhere because I have another wonderful entrepreneur coming your way. We have amazing programming coming your way right here on Metropole TV as well, so don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Entrepreneurs Lounge. Now, if you have an upcoming event, party, ceremony, my next entrepreneur is the man for you. He is none other than Mr. Erick Odek, CEO and founder of Dazzling Events and Services Company. You're very welcome to the show, Erick.
Thank you, Ingrid. Thank you for having me.
Dazzling Events and Services. What do you do?
Dazzling Event Services, first of all, thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely.
Dazzling Events, it's an events company, as the name suggests. We do event services, we manage events, and we also give out party rental items. These are tents, tables, chairs. That means we do weddings, we do parties, we do corporate events, we do exhibitions, we plan any event that a client may have, a client that do not want to get into the planning process. They come to us, we ask them what they want, and then we strive to give them their dream. We strive to make sure that they find and do and have exactly what they wanted to have in their dream. A wedding is something that somebody dreams of, something that somebody just thinks of the best things that he ever wants, he or she ever wants. They come to us, we sit down with them, and then we manage this from the beginning to the end.
So that's what you do as Dazzling Events and Services. Now I want to know about Erick, the man behind Dazzling Events and Services. How did you get into this space?
Erick is a simple guy.
With a simple profile?
Exactly. Studied journalism, graduated, and got employed for a few years. So employment as a little bit tricky thing. I was surviving. I was surviving with employment, so I decided, why don't I try doing my own thing? Why don't I was employed in an events company. I worked as an operations manager for some time. I got to know the clientele, how it is marketed, how it is done, and then I'm sorry, I resigned. I told them, yeah,
know, so sad for the
this is
industry.
it. I think I'm going to leave. And then I left with only 30,000 shillings in my pocket. Yep. And
For an
30,000.
events company?
Yes.
Can that even buy a bouncing castle?
Not even a rent. So, yeah, I said, what do I do with 30,000?
Right, Eric, I'm keen. I'm dying to know how you started this business with 30,000 shillings that couldn't pay your rent.
Yeah, what I did first was buy a laptop for 15,000, talk to a web design guy and told them that I want a website because I'm starting this company and this is what I have. I told them I have 10,000 as a deposit. The web design was 30,000 shillings. That was all I had, but I couldn't give them all, so I paid a deposit of 10,000 and I remained with 5,000. I went to a person who could register my company. I told them that I want a company, a corporate. They told me, okay, fine, it is 18,000. I gave them 5,000 and told them, you start with this, I'm gonna pay you. I had faith. For entrepreneurship and going into business, one thing you just got to have faith. You risk everything, and it is belief in the future that you haven't seen. I just knew that things would work out.
So when did these things work out? When did you reap from your faith? When did that 30,000 shillings that you walked out of employment with finally translate into hundreds of thousands or even millions?
Having known how to market, I went down to marketing. Having a computer, I could get airtime, put it on my phone, tether my phone to my computer, access internet, and then start marketing from a house. So the website designer was good to me because I'd known him from the company I'd worked for. So I'd given them a job. So they managed to finish my website. So I kept sharing my website online, telling my friends that right now I'm no longer there. I am here with Dazzling Events. I'm doing this, sharing to all the contacts that I had. At least I got the first job, which paid me 117,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
You could finish up the website.
Yeah, yes. I said, okay, this is it. But that is not immediately. That was after 2.5 months that the first job came. We did it well. The client was very happy. We finished up all the debts that we had. And I said, fine, let me look for a small office. So I went ahead, looked for an office, and got an office that I was paying 25,000 in Kangemi. Stayed there for some times. Rent became difficult because the first job didn't mean that they will keep rolling. They will keep coming. So it became very difficult. But we walked through it. 3 years down the line, after then, we started getting good traffic because the work that we were doing was so good. People kept coming and coming. So we moved from a 25,000 shillings office to a 60,000 shillings office in Westlands. Yes, we stayed in Westlands for some times with the office. Again, after 1 year, we went ahead and bought our own items because I started with nothing. I didn't have anything to give out. So we bought chairs, we bought tents, we bought tables, we bought linen. So we had our own things. That meant we needed a bigger space. So we moved again from Westlands to Garden Estate, where we got a home, a big home with its own compound. That is where now we could put everything and work from. Yes.
So going off of such an interesting, almost unbelievable story, the journey that you've just talked to us to where you are today, what have been some of the key lessons you've picked up that you believe and feel are still feeding into the journey that you're going on? What are these lessons that you've learned that are very vital in this entrepreneurial journey that are still informing the decisions that you're taking on a day-to-day basis?
Your clients. Your clients are your kings. There are people that will either make you or break you. You get a job, do it well. You get the job that you've gotten makes you get the next job. So when you are going to work for one client, work for that client, knowing that that is a work that you have. It is a sealed deal. It is a deal that you've sealed. There is another deal. The other deal that will come is it will come out of how best you did this one, either to the person who saw you work or this client giving you another one. So the best we strive to do is for the client for the next event. So every time we work, when a client gives us a job, we try to do our best for that client today because we know very well that the people that will be coming to that event or that particular client could give you another job. Again, when it comes to finances, You invest wisely. You don't finish everything from the granary. You have some few coins that can facilitate another event. When a client comes and says, I would want you to do this without money. So you are able to facilitate that particular job without asking the client for the money. So you can be able to facilitate and do numerous jobs without getting the payment first. Because a point that you can sometimes break up with a client is insisting on getting your money, in getting the money from the client before you supply. So there are those clients who are skeptic. They will tell you, I don't find it comfortable sending you money before you supply. Why don't you bring me the items and then I pay you later, or I pay you in cash on delivery. So you got to have money for facilitation for these particular jobs before that particular client pays you.
Still sticking to the client, how do you ensure you do things differently and stand out in the eyes of the client so that even going forward in the midst of all the other events companies, which are not few that are in the country, how then do you make sure you remain memorable as Dazzling Events?
I do a lot of research. Before I started the company, I went ahead and researched how events are done in the US, how events are done in the UK, how events are done in Canada, and these Scandinavian countries. How do they do their events? What items do they have? And I try to replicate the same here. I think we are the first companies to import some particular chairs called Chivalry chairs. They are now a bit common, but and expensive. We imported the same, with more than 2 million in importation. That is in money paid to supply to manufacturer. There are chairs that weren't common. So we try to be unique. What is it that is not there? People do the normal conventional tents. We have variety and different types of tents. You need an hexagon tent, you need a beeline tent, you need an A-frame. There is a particular tent called A-frame. It's a big, huge tent. The first one to come to Kenya was brought by a company that I was allied to. We decided to work together and say, no, please bring this in, because it wasn't in Kenya. So we have revolutionized an events industry in Kenya. In fact, if you check, you will see that we are maybe top 5 or top 3 events companies in Kenya. That is because we are modern. We make things different. We bring new things. We bring things that are not usually common, things that people do not have. You want an event that you have seen online, having been done in US, you come to us, we do it to you here, locally.
Finally, Erick, what's your growth plan for Dazzling Events?
Nairobi is becoming a bit congested. So we are planning to move to other cities, Kisumu, Eldoret and Bomba, the towns that we have earmarked for our expansion. We have the same items here. We can take the same items in Kisumu, and we take the same items in Eldoret, so that we cater for that Eldoret event, Kisumu event, and Mombasa event. We've had so many calls from Kericho, so many calls from Eldoret, Kitale, Kisumu, Mombasa. It forces us to carry all our things from Nairobi, because we do good work, we do good events. So we carry all our things from Nairobi to Mombasa, or to Eldoret, or to Kisumu. This, I think, is something that we can work on, so that, because if a client calls one date, we cannot provide same items in 2 different events. We will provide for one event, same items. So that means if we get a call from Kitale needing the same items that have been booked in Nairobi, we cannot be able to supply. So we can't remove, we can't take it to the same day. So what we plan to do is buy the same items and take them to Eldoret. Eldoret can supply Kitale, can supply Kericho, and can supply the neighborhoods, so that we have the same items in Eldoret, in Kisumu, and in Mombasa. So that if we get those calls, we don't have to carry all our things from Nairobi to those towns. That is what we intend to do.
Thank you so much for coming on to the show, Erick. I really wish you all the best in whatever you do, and you're doing amazing. I have to take a very quick break, but don't go anywhere, because I have so much more amazing things coming up to you right here on Entrepreneurs Lounge. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Entrepreneurs Lounge, and you're just in time for our fun quickfire round. Now, Ezekiel and Erick, I know you know about this round.
Maybe we don't.
Your faces look like you're ready for this round. You're sitting upright. Eric was first like this before Ezekiel was, now everyone's like this. So basically, this is what happens in this round. I'm just doing this for formality for the audience because I know you guys are ready.
You may not be.
You are. So if you're not, you're embarrassing yourselves, guys. Your call. So in this round, I'll ask 5 random questions. The trick is to blurt out the correct answer. Quickest answer out earns a point. At the end of the round, the person with the highest correct answers earns our coveted quick fire round king title. And the crown will be handed to you as you leave.
Wow.
It's a real crown, like with real diamonds. So people fight for this crown, guys. You ready? Let's go. Quick fire round question number 1. According to the United Nations. Yeah, I was waiting for those like. According to the United Nations, how many countries are in Africa? See? The United. So close.
56.
So close. Guys, one more. This is the time.
4.
Yes. 54. A point to Ezekiel.
He takes that.
He takes that one. I want you to take this one.
I give it up.
Okay.
I give it to him.
Question number 2. Who painted the famous Mona Lisa painting?
That's a difficult one.
Come on. It's a very easy one. Is it? You guys, the Mona Lisa? But you know the Mona Lisa, right? So who painted it, guys? He shared, no, you can't pass. He shares a name with another actor. A very famous actor. He acted in the Titanic. So you guys, I can't give you more.
Defensive.
And the first name?
Somebody defensive.
Okay, close enough. I'll give you that one. Leonardo da Vinci. Oh, yeah. A point to Eric for that one.
No. He didn't get it.
You nothing.
Anyway, that's true.
Okay, a point. Question number 3. Daddy long legs is a species of which animal? Daddy long legs. Long legs. Daddy long legs. You guys, you've never heard of a daddy long legs? You've never been like in a house and someone says, kill that daddy long legs?
No. Is it giraffe, octopus? Which
in a house.
In a house. Oh,
yes,
okay.
It's an insect.
It's, that should have been the first.
Long legs. The clue is long legs.
Long legs.
No.
Okay, just take a guess at least. It's a species. It's like a sub. You know what I mean? You know how you have dogs and then you have German shepherds, you have terriers. So this is a type of something. I really don't understand this answer because it's so easy. I feel like if a girl was on this set, they would
It's
know.
a difficult answer.
I don't mean to be a feminist.
It's because it's
a
something that is
spider.
found in the house.
It's a spider, guys. It's a spider. Everyone knows a daddy long leg spider. No point. 1-1. Question number 4. Everyone knows this one. It will be up to whoever says it first. How many minutes are played during the average soccer game?
90.
Fine. It's a tie. 2 points. My final question is the tiebreaker question. Finally, quick fire round question. Which Williams sister has more Grand Slam titles? Which Williams sister?
Serena.
It is Serena. All right, that's the end of our quick fire round, and we have a winner. Do you want to announce the winner, Eric? Our quick fire round winner is. That's it. It's you, Ezekiel. You did take it. It was a close one, though. It wasn't. How do you guys not know daddy long legs?
The moment you ask things about the house,
This is why this set has to be balanced. I feel like a girl would.
anything that concerns the house, you see
You
now
need
that's
to do more in the house.
Yeah.
Well, that's all the show we had for you today on Entrepreneurs Lounge. But don't go anywhere because we have more amazing programming coming your way. Today we've been shooting at the King Post on Raptor Road in Westlands. Have a very beautiful day.